You don't necessarily left it perfectly to lay a good snooker. He's got a lot of balls in between.
Fault.
I think he'd be quite disappointed there with that. I don't think that was particularly well worked from Robertson for once. There were many opportunities to get a snooker, and he ended up not getting close to getting one there. However, he's still hanging on in the frame. A slightly ticklish one. You would say that he will hit it. If he could play it off two cushions, I think it's easier than just the one. Had he gone right-hand side cushion, he could have slid past the yellow. But off two, it just seems like it's more straightforward. However, he could be in another one here, behind the black with the cue ball. No, there's a gap.
It's just all anxiety, though, that Wakeling doesn't need. If he'd have just potted that ready, he was sort of stretching on it, wasn't he? But if he'd have just potted it, we'd be into frame 3 now. As it is, he hasn't won this frame yet.
I think what happened was he potted the pink to middle. Couldn't afford to miss the pink, so he put everything into that, didn't he? And wasn't quite right on the red. He was stretching. All these things can drive you mad at this game. Now, this is a little trickier than the previous shot. This is the ball. As Dave said, if that goes in, it's definitely frame over.
Yeah, and that was, as you see, 7.5 minutes ago, and this yellow in the middle of the table just makes it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, you could definitely miss this one. This is not a big target, actually. Very well done. He hit all of it.
Yeah, Mark Selby would have been proud of that one. What a great hit. Because he's practiced with Selby, one of the, well, probably the best at escaping from snookers, actually.
Kind of way we always say in commentary, you pop frame ball and maybe one or two balls after that is where you absolutely clinch the frame, because of course if ever frames like this go against you, which as a player would hurt a lot, it can change the course of a match. Well, I'm guessing he went for the pop there. Interesting though, isn't it, even now? Blue and pink where they've gone, a big sort of shield almost to get the cue ball behind. This frame is lingering a little longer than Chris Wakeling would like it to. He could pot down to the blue, pink and black here, and it's 1 to win then. 5-point penalty. I think that's what he's going to try. And cue ball down somewhere near the black, he's got a guaranteed snooker. So the frame is very much alive, and Wakelin knows it.
Five. Nine.
He doesn't want the blue to end up on a cushion. He could do with it somewhere out in open spaces at the other end of the table.
Neil Robertson, nine.
You can see that coming a few shots before. Oh, he said he's good at hitting snookers. This will test him again. This is one you can easily go around the back of. That's exactly what he's done.
Five. Neil Robertson, five.
Got himself into a bit of a pickle here, Wakelin.
Yeah, it was a good snooker, wasn't it? Remember that semi-final, Robertson and Mark Williams, when Neil Robertson got the 2 snookers in the decider. Incredible. Back in 2022. So he's got previous here for Lane snookers.
I remember that last frame was bonkers, wasn't it? There was all sorts of going on. There was a red down at the bottom left corner of the table, which played a huge part in that, the last red. It would have been a tough one for Williams to have lost.
Foul.
Wow, all that hard
It's
work
Wakelin, five.
to get the snooker, and he fails to hit the blue. So he's going to have to do it all again.
Yes, I think you could actually see the blue top edge of it, because he probably felt it would have pushed it to the cushion. I didn't expect him to miss it altogether. So back to where we were, 1 snooker to win. I think we've highlighted Wakelin's nerves, but clearly Robertson's feeling a few himself.
Minute frame now, but it's 14 minutes since he missed that red, Wakelin. That would have ended it.
Five.
Always more difficult on pink and black. Because, of course, you don't get the snooker, your opponent rolls the pink over the pocket, and that should be end of frame.
Neil Robertson, five.
There might be a chance to pop this. I'm not sure this is the perfect shot to roll it over the pocket on. Plays for medium pace, I think. The consolation for Wakelin is that to get a snooker here looks extremely difficult.
He'd be so relieved if he can just knock this in. Seems a long time since he made that 65 break. There it goes. And it is his frame. This Australia v England encounter is already closer than the Ashes. It's 1-1.